This is the Better Life Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Turner, here with my co-host, Mr. Cam Cathcart.
What's up?
What's up, Cam?
Not much, man.
Dude,
Excited.
I'm excited to talk about AI, and I'm going to find out whether or not we're all dead in a few years. That's the big question. I've been on that train for a while. I'm a little nervous, so we brought in an expert today to talk about that. Before we get to that, hey, everybody, the REI Summit is coming up soon, April 1st through 3rd. Go to reisummit2026.com. Get your tickets. Prices go up every week.
Do you have a code for him?
Code is CAM10.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Without further ado, I'm excited to bring in today's guest, Joe Stolte. Welcome.
It's an honor to be here.
Well, we've hung out a couple times in the last year and had some good times talking AI. And so I'm excited to get you out here to Maui, and now we got you. I want to start with the big question that I just said. Are we dead? Is AI going to kill us all? And then we'll talk about how to get rich from AI. But I want to know first, are we dead because of AI?
The thing that AI is the closest to is electricity, I think, right? In terms of like, it's an underlying technology that's going to impact literally everything. When electricity came out and they started putting electricity everywhere, you can go back and look up like newspaper headlines that were like, this is going to ruin our species. It's going to make our houses explode. It's going to kill us. Electricity, right? We use it in everything. We figured it out. There was some panic around the internet as well, right? There was rightful panic around the atomic bomb. And yet we found a way as a species to mitigate that. Now, I think the acceleration of AI is nothing like any of those in the sense that when it happens, it's going to happen potentially very, very quickly. But that being said, our ability as a species to innovate and then adapt and then mitigate the risks, we have a pretty good track record. You know, as far as I know, maybe this is like not the first version of recorded history. And, you know, there's a whole other podcast on that, right? But like, we're pretty good at it. And so my thought is AI has so much abundance. I mean, like civilization level change on every front in terms of the upside. We have to try.
Yep.
To not try would be blasphemous, man.
Yep.
It would be like, this could be a technology that unlocks so much abundance across so many domains like space and health and pretty much anything in white collar capitalism. And then we get robots. Like really, this could be step level abundant change for the species.
So there's two giant risks that people generally talk about. And I agree, the super intelligence is going to wipe us out, you know, the Matrix style or Terminator. Like, I think that one's, I don't want to say a stretch. It's definitely a possibility that could happen, but it's one, we can't really stop that at this point. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I kind of feel like the other one I think is more tangible and real. And that is just the job loss.
Yeah.
That because this is going to come so quickly, the theory is it's going to wipe out a whole lot of jobs and cause a lot of pain before we emerge through that. Are you of that camp? Do you believe that? Or like, how do we get through that dip if that's coming?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's important to notice, I can't remember the exact dates, like late 1800s, something like 70 to 80% of jobs were around food manufacturing. Then we had all this technology come. How many people do you know in food manufacturing? But there are net more jobs ever.
We have chickens. We're one of them.
Right? Yeah.
We're good.
I mean, I make sandwiches at home. But my point is like we have net more jobs now than we did then.
Yes.
And so the chances of us having that same thing happen with AI, I think, are even higher. However, like then, but probably more pronounced, you know, there's going to be change. It's going to be rapid.
Yeah.
It's going to be exponential. And anytime we have rapid exponential change as a species, like we don't like that. So there's going to be pain.
Yep.
There's going to be friction. And I'm not trying to speak that into existence. I don't want that. But I think intelligent people that look out into the future and go, that's likely to happen. What should we do about that? Let's have that conversation. Let's have the conversation around like, how do we shepherd the middle generations, us, through this bridge of pre and post AI? Because I believe the people in the post AI generation, when it's at scale, let's say post AGI, are going to have access to like so much abundance that we might actually see for the first time in human history where like our creativity isn't being neutered through old institutions like public schooling, right? Or like school in general.
Yeah.
And we unlock our creativity and we marry it up with unlimited energy and unlimited intelligence and resources. What's possible for us? I mean, that's amazing. So that's that bridge in the middle. And I don't think anybody has a good answer for how we're going to do that. I think it would be ignorant not to say that it's not going to be painful, but I think it's equally like, I wouldn't say ignorant, but it's like a leap to say that it's going to destroy us all, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. So are there dangers with AI alignment? And if you don't know what that means, that's basically like as AI gets more and more intelligent, is it going to be aligned with human interests or disaligned with human interests? And let's just put the two camps of people in this world. You have like the Star Trek camp, and you have the James Cameron camp. You know, he created all the Terminator, right? Yeah. All the AI movies where AI kills us. So like, if you're in the Terminator camp, you think, oh, well, like AI will not be aligned with us, therefore Terminator, therefore, bad, Matrix, Terminator, that kind of stuff. And then for the Star Trek crew, it's like, no, we feel like there's a real unlimited set of abundance that comes out the other side of this. And now we can go explore the universe. We can do all these things, right? And so like, I tend to think it's probably somewhere in the middle, but right of center, where right is the Star Trek stuff. And dude, we're going to have to go through some pretty painful stuff. And when I say we, I don't mean investors and I don't mean entrepreneurs. Because by nature, we are in that like 2 to 5% of people that have learned how to take ambiguity and turn it into order and make money out of it, and then bring lots of people with us on the journey, our investors, our stakeholders, our teams, our audiences, if you're content creators. So like, we've kind of already figured that out, but it's the rest of the people that haven't developed that muscle. They're going to have a hard time. And I think it's our responsibility, dare I say our duty as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as people that can see this future, to shepherd them through that, right? Train them, create experiences, bring people together, create mechanisms that allow people to do their best work without being put into this hole where like it's doom and gloom and I lost my job and there's no hope for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that was why I wanted to do this episode, not about the doom and gloom. I wanted to make sure we cover it. So we say, hey, we talked about it.
Check.
But check. And yeah, there are risks and all that stuff. But that theory, I mean, I've been thinking about this for a long time, is like, anytime somebody's like, oh, are you worried about the economy collapsing? Well, let's go Robert Kiyosaki for a minute. Like, I love Kiyosaki, but he's been saying the economy's going to collapse. We're all, going to be destroyed. He's been saying that for 20 years, 30 years. Like, it's all coming, right? And like, whenever I start getting nervous about like, what if that actually happens? I remember the people that are proactive and at the top are not the ones that are typically hurt as bad. Like, so I want to be, if, for example, if let's say vacancy, a property, like go real estate example, goes to 70% of people are vacant, whatever magic happens that all of a sudden every property is like, I just need to make sure that I'm in the top, one of the best properties, because if I have one of the best properties, then I'm not going to be 70% vacant. I'm going to be 80% or 90% occupied. The theory is if you're good and you're at the top, you're going to be fine. So how do we, and that's the whole crux of today's conversation, how do we profit? How do we emerge at the top? What are like the we'll call it 5 ways that we get wealthier because of AI? So I'll let you kind of take it from there and we can jump around and ask questions, but yeah, that's what I want to know.
Love that. So let's look at this through like a business context, then we can extrapolate to an investor context or beyond.
Yeah, and I'd say this probably half, 2/3 real estate investors, but we can go entrepreneurship in general, wealth in general, people.
Yeah, and I invest in, I'm like 95% entrepreneur and 5% real estate investor, but like I can see how the lens of the real estate investor is very entrepreneurial. It's very similar.
Yeah, it is. It's a business. Shocking. Like, yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So look, the first way to get wealthy with AI is to zoom out. If you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich, or if you studied Napoleon Hill, he has this list of the wealth, true wealth, and like money's not at the top, right? I think in the top 3 or at the top is time, right? Because why? Because they'll just keep printing more money. Let's be honest. If you're talented, you can go extract value, provide value, extract cash back, money back, whatever. But we don't get to do that with time. And so the way I like to think about this is like, what if you were an investor of your time and you looked at time as if like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett looked at distributing capital, right? Like they're very judicious about where they put money in. Well, Munger, rest in peace, is no longer with us, right? But they might look at a gazillion deals and only put money into like, I don't know, some small number a year. I forget, it's like 3 or 5 a year max, or maybe less. Mm-hmm. And so like, what if we looked at our time the same way? The thing is that we don't. Most of us don't, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you've ever taken the Colby and you're a quick start, or you're a quote unquote ADHD entrepreneur squirrel, like we're not judicious with our time. We don't discern well with how we invest our time. And so I think the first way that you can get rich with AI is use AI to bring awareness to how you use your time. How are you currently using it, and how should you be using it? How do you want to be using it? And then use AI to actually save time in what you're doing. And that's a whole can of worms that we can open, but that's like step 1, because inside of the game of like becoming aware of how you invest your time, it's really easy with AI to get time back, like super, super easy. We can go through a handful of examples, but now that I have time, I can reinvest that time and to doing the other 4 steps, which are going to unlock money and wealth. But if I don't do this first step and I continue to be overwhelmed and I chase shiny objects and I have no leverage with my time, you might win the money game and look back and be like, well, what was the point of all that anyway?
Yeah.
Can you give an example of like, how do you use AI to
buy back your time?
Well, not even buy back your time, but just like tell you where your time is going. What do you mean by that?
So I think step 0 is you can use AI to audit your time. Yeah. That's what I mean by bring awareness to where your time is. So you can hook it up to your calendar if you use Gmail, or you have, in fact, if you go to dmjoe.com and you send me the word time, I have a whole prompt exercise where ChatGPT will ask you questions, help you get altitude on your time, and then bring you aware to your time.
That's
right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So send me the word time and I'll send that to you. But just have it ask you questions. Like if you're not smart enough to connect it to your calendar or whatever, then it'll ask you questions and it'll start to map out, how do you spend your time? What brings you energy? What takes your energy away? And then if you're a CEO, like what's an admin task? What's a manager task? What's an executive task? So then you can map out, well, the things that take my energy that are admin tasks, like let's get rid of those first. Let's put AI and humans on those. So they're off my calendar, they're off my consciousness, all of it, right? And this is just like blocking and tackling time management 101, just reimagined through AI. So that's the first thing. Second thing is like, I don't know how much when I look at business, okay? Look at my business, look at my P&L. The things that show up that are obvious, like I spend a lot of money on people. I spend a lot of money on buildings, like where I put the people, right? And now I run virtual companies, but historically. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think the next biggest, most expensive thing where we spend money on? It's not obvious, by the way.
I was going to say Slack.
Slack, yeah.
Expensive. Is it something like that? Like
it's your time. Meetings, dude. Oh. How many people and how much money they make are sitting in meetings?
Tons.
A lot, right?
And I think that sometimes when I'm on a meeting with like 15 people and I start adding up how much money this meeting's costing me, we've been talking for an hour and I'm like, this was a $12,000 meeting. I'm like, this is insane.
It was a lot. It was like, so the pressure to make that time worth it is high, right? But we don't think about that because we don't respect our time. We respect our money, which we all know is not even real. We just agree that it's a thing more than we respect our time, which is a thing, right? And so you can use AI to make your meetings a gazillion % more effective, okay? So everyone in the company should learn how to do prompt engineering, first of all, so that they understand how to work with AI, problem solve on their own, get that first handful of questions answered on their own and come prepared. Then if you just followed basic meeting hygiene, like make sure you have an agenda, make sure you have like a timekeeper, make sure you have an objective. And then if you were to look at those things, the person that's running the meeting and driving the agenda could actually go into a tool like gamma.app and make a presentation in less than 5 minutes and either make a loom, which would be the harder way, and like just go through the presentation and send it out in advance and say, everybody, that's attending this meeting, watch this in advance. And instead of this being an hour meeting, it's going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be, 10 minutes of Q&A and 20 minutes of deciding together what's going to happen. Right. The other thing you could do is if you don't like Loom and you don't like talking, you could take that presentation and put it into another AI tool that actually turns it into a video. Either way, we want to take ideas and make them visual and allow people to watch them at 1.5 or 2x speed before the meeting. Now my hour meeting is 30 minutes. Now my 30-minute meeting is 15 minutes. And then I want to make sure that on that meeting, the objective is we are making decisions. We are not reviewing information. If you didn't review the information, you're not allowed to be on the meeting, you won't be a part of the decision. CEO included. Right? So, if you want to be a leader, go first. If you want people to change, you model the behavior you want them to have, right? So right off the bat, now I know this is like boring. It's not like, we're going to automate the whole company, but like, dude, like all of the values and the boring stuff, like it's just like in real estate, right? Like all the values and like faithfully doing the boring fundamentals over and over and over, not skipping steps and not getting bored.
Dude, that's all I teach in like First Deal, which is my education program. I'm just like, it's the fundamentals, or Freedom X. I'm just like, there's like 10 things you do. You just do them over and over.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's why dumb people can make a lot of money.
It's like, just do the boring things over and over.
That's it.
But the question is like, how do you use AI to get out of like those boring, dumb things that you do over and over and over again? Because I feel like my life is 90% of it's that.
Well, I think when you're in a business, it's
how do I get out of this podcast with Brandon? This sucks. Get a robot here.
Put you in Notebook LM. Yeah. Well, I'll just say one more thing because I do think meetings and the inbox are the two places where we spend a lot of time, and it sucks. The other thing about meetings, I'll say one more thing, is like, if I am not making a decision on that meeting and don't have anything to weigh in on top of with a pre-read or the pre-watch, then I shouldn't be on that meeting. And some person should be like the meeting Nazi. Because like all of the good leaders that I worked under before I went rogue and became an entrepreneur would literally come into meetings and be like, I'll just pick on Brandon, like, okay, this is the meeting. Who's that guy? Brandon, what do you do? Why are you here? Does anybody need anything from Brandon? Brandon, do you have anything to contribute on the topic? Okay, Brandon, you should probably go do something more productive.
Really?
Not to be rude to Brandon. It sounds like, oh, like that would feel terrible, especially if you're like junior and it's the boss. No, it's like, you need to go work, dude. You know what I mean? Like, go do what we paid you to do that's in your zone of genius that makes you stoked, because it's probably not sitting here contributing nothing. Yeah. So just that alone. So, but that's important, because that ties in the next thing I want to say, which is like, there's so many things that you do that you shouldn't do in the first place. Why do you do them? Mm-hmm. Like, just like forget AI. First principles before we automate anything is to eliminate the things that don't need to be there from a systems perspective, right? Because if we automate crap, we just get faster automated crap. It's still complex. Yeah. So the first thing you want to do in any system, which is our lives, our businesses, our systems, is we want to simplify. We want to ruthlessly simplify. And so just take yourself out of every equation that you don't need to be in, and remove every part of the business, the process, the value creation that doesn't need to be there. And then all of a sudden we have less to worry about automating. And then I'll get into what we do next. But like, that's step zero, is like use AI to get ahead of your time.
How do you keep, because you've built multiple businesses, how do you, for me, I've always been like, oh, I want to be on calls with these guys and Zoom meetings for culture purposes. And I want a weekly team meeting where everybody's on, just to build culture, even though you're right, there's probably 3 people that really need to be on that call. How do you do that if you're eliminating meetings and face-to-face time?
What do you think builds culture?
For me, it's money, but it's like if I'm making a lot of money, I don't really care.
Well, Charlie Munger said, if you show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. So you just answered your own question. The meetings don't drive the culture. I mean, they have they contribute, but they're not the driver.
Gary Vaynerchuk had a great video years ago I saw where Gary said, somebody was like, what do you think about like all these offices are putting ping pong tables and foosball and bowling or whatever to try entice millennials and Gen Zers or whatever to come play, so they'll go to work. And he said, people don't need foosball to come to work. They need a win to come to work. Like, if they're winning, they're going to like what they do. And if they're not winning, it doesn't matter how many foosball tables or video games you have, they're not going to want to work. So he's like, just go win and make money and succeed. And everybody's excited about the culture of that, because we're a winning culture, not a foosball culture, not a meeting culture, not a Hawaiian shirt Friday culture. It's like, we're a winning culture.
100%. Momentum. Yeah. If you sort for growth-minded winners that want to win, which has its downsides, but people that want to win and they're growth-minded, and you have momentum, that's the main thing they want to plug their umbilical cord into. And I'm one of them, right? Yeah. And so like, that's the first principles, like get the big rocks lined up first. So I think the thing is about meetings is, most of the time you have meetings because you don't have a system. The meeting and the sloppy execution of the meeting and the way that we ping pong things like around inside of a meeting, like that is the system. And like, if you're winning and like you're creating value and money's coming out the other side, like that's a great place to start. It's just not a great place to be when you're trying to grow, because it's painful and it takes a lot more time than is necessary. So I think one of the main things that drives culture is incentives and standards. Okay. So standards, if there's a spectrum, holding a standard means being a leader. What's the standard, right? So like I remember when I started my career in management consulting, it was a massively high performing environment, like crazy high performing. Like, I'm so glad I had that experience. And there was like one of the partners that worked there, like I almost never saw him, but he would drop in at random points and just ask questions or say things that raised the standard of how we operated and reminded us the standard's up here and you guys are down here. He wasn't being a prick. It's just like he was holding the standard. So I think when you hold the standard, there's a saying in leadership that like the mistakes people make is you're either, a doormat or a dictator. A doormat's like a pushover and you don't hold the standard and let everyone walk over you. And the dictator is like, you're a little bit overbearing, you're a little bit aggro, you're in people's faces, like you totally scare the Gen Z people away or whatever. Like, you got to kind of find that right balance. And so I think like putting that time in with people one-on-one, non-negotiable. But like in meetings, in well-placed meetings, let's say like we have an end of week recap and like a business review, at least every other week or monthly, definitely quarterly. That's where you can hold the standard. The other place you can hold the standard is when people make mistakes. And you should push them so hard they make mistakes. And when they make the mistake, you can point out why they're better than that and show them how to close the gap to not make that mistake. Like that's the hard part of leadership. And that to me is where culture is born, because then they take that and that's how they treat each other. It doesn't just come from the leader, but it's the incentives and it's the standards. Like if I just slimmed it down to the 80-20, it's those things. So I can use AI to help me hold standards by I don't have to be on the call, dude. I can have the transcript export and use N8N to analyze that with my leadership standards and have it evaluate the conversation to see where are people below standard. Then I can make note of that. And in my one-on-one with them, I can address it, right? And so like, that's a far more effective way and awesome incentives, right? Sticks and carrots to get people to behave a certain way. And I'm not trying to sound like a cold, calculated capitalist, but I am saying is that like when you have a high performer and you feed the momentum and you do these kinds of things, they love it, dude. They love it. It's kind of like being on a high performing sports team. It would be weird if you weren't running the tape back and going, dude, you missed that guy right there. You missed that screen in basketball, right? You came off the pick the wrong way. Like they expect that. They run tape all the time, but we don't run tape on meetings. Like, so if you want to be great, run the tape, dude. And AI can run the tape with machine-like precision 24/7, 365, and it doesn't ask for PTO. Doesn't ask you to post the black square on Instagram either.
Brilliant. Just even like having them transcribe our meetings, uploading it. What'd you say? And what was the?
There's an automation enablement tool called N8N. It could use N8N or Make or Zapier. It basically connects large language learning models to tools. The tools are like the hands and feet. And so like I can have a transcript get automatically dropped into Google Drive. And then the minute that happens, it triggers that transcript to go into Claude or ChatGPT, have it analyzed. Then the analysis gets spit out into a Slack message that comes straight to me in my EA.
Man, that would embarrass me. It would say like, Cam, your meetings are so bad.
Yeah.
You talk too much and don't ask enough questions.
And that thing I just described, those like simple little workflows, those take maybe 15 to 30 minutes to set up and like 30 minutes to test. And then you start to put these micro systems into your business that help you get feedback and feedback loops.
If we did that on every meeting, it would in a month change our entire business, I think.
I think in like a week, it'll change everyone's behavior. Because have you ever heard the thing, with like weight loss? You do all these things to try to get people to lose weight. And then like the thing that works the best is you just stick them on the scale every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because what gets measured gets managed, and what gets measured often grows exponentially. Right. That's what it is, Pearson's law. Just because we don't like looking at the same data and going and doing nothing about it. Yeah. And when you know you're being watched and you know you're being monitored, like you're the thing that's being monitored, oh boy, does that change behavior.
Yeah. This is why like my entire philosophy of success, if you want to call it that I built, really like the Better Life Tribe, Freedom Accelerator, First Deal, I built all of them off this idea of track your habits every day. Because if you track your habits, did I do the date with my wife? Did I go to the gym? Did I make that offer? Did I analyze that deal? When you just track it every morning for 30 seconds, it's all it takes. Check, dash, check, dash. And I do this. I've done it for probably 5 years now in a row. I rarely miss a day. I always know at the end of the week, I'm like, oh man, that's my third week in a row of not going on a date with my wife. I got to fix that this week. And then you add some accountability in there, which we like offer, we did anyway, offer some coaching, but you can hire a performance coach. Then it's like takes it up a level because then somebody else is saying, Brandon, that's the third week in a row you missed your date with your wife. And it's like, oh yeah, I know. Just so measuring things in your life, super, super important.
Yeah. That level of feedback is I get a chance to coach like, not multi-9-figure, mostly venture-backed tech people, but also some non-venture-backed businesses. And like, I get bored of coaching them on the same things, dude, which is culture, hiring better people, and having shorter and better feedback loops.
Yeah.
Because like when you have shorter and better feedback loops, it's that, dude. It's like, oh man, like I'm so out of integrity with my commitment. Like we have not had a date night in 3 weeks. Like, and what happens is like we can keep saying yes to all these other things.
Yep.
But we don't say yes to the things that we want. And that's what I mean by bringing awareness to your time. It sounds so basic. It's, it's one of those things where like you hear it and your ego goes, oh yeah, I know that, I'm going to tune out. But like usually when your ego does that, it's like you should tune in because those are the things you need to be reminded of the most. Because if it was all about learning new things, you'd just be like listening to new information and doing nothing. Most of the time, it's being reminded of the things you already know. So yeah, I'm 100%.
Yeah, it's like I heard a pastor once say, if it's new, it's not true. And if it's true, it's not new. And so like this idea of like I don't need some brand new way to lose weight. I don't need some brand new idea to get a real estate deal. We know exactly what to do. And when you do that, like, oh, I already know that. I say that every time I teach a call now for Freedom X or any of the Better Life stuff. I'm just like, please put your ego aside, because like I know you know this stuff. I know we know this stuff, but I mess up constantly. So just acknowledge that, track it, show me that you're actually doing the thing consistently, persistently, and at a high standard. That's all I want to see.
And you know, what's the saying? You can't read the label from inside the jar. And so usually I'd say, well, hire a coach. And it's like, you know, I'm a coach. So it's like going to the barber and asking if you need a haircut. But now you can have AI be that lens outside of the jar if you do it right, especially if you ask for critical feedback.
Yeah.
But if you feed it these feedback loops and you encourage your team to do that too, that's part of time awareness and just using our time more effectively. We've just attacked the biggest time suck in all things business, which is useless meetings.
Yeah.
The next thing is the inbox. There's a tool called Fixer AI that'll mostly just handle that for you. You could do this on your own, and there's all these strategies. But like, that's it. If just thin slice it to the 80-20. Okay, we spend too much time on meetings, and we spend too much time. Well, first of all, we need to eliminate the things that we shouldn't be doing in the first place. Simplify it. Then evaluate how we use our time on meetings and kind of walk through the things I've talked about with meeting hygiene and AI to improve everything. Yeah. And then after that, basically like go out and look at how you spend time in your inbox and either have someone else do it or have AI do it for you. There's like Fixer. I'm not endorsing them. I don't get paid for that. That's just a simple tool you can use. So if you just did those three things, simplify, fix meeting management, and then go into your inbox and get yourself out of your inbox, man, you would feel way better.
Yeah.
And you'd have loads of time to then reinvest into doing meaningful things to move the business forward to make more profit, which looks like more revenue and less costs. So like, to me, that's door zero. You got to go through that door. If you don't go through that door and you're time poor, which a lot of people are like phenomenally wealthy and phenomenally time poor or attention poor, then you're losing the game. I'll say one more thing. I have a friend, his name's Emerson Spartz. One of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. Him and his brother Dylan, they started this thing called MuggleNet. It was like one of the top. There's the world's largest Harry Potter fan site when they're 10 and 12 years old. It used to be one of the biggest websites on the internet. He made a ton of money and then invested in crypto in a very intelligent way and made a lot more money. And I was talking to him about a month ago, and he said something about himself that I thought was hilarious. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a time billionaire." And I was like, oh, that's a good book title. Because at the end of the day, like, how many of us spend more time to make more money when we already have loads of money or enough? I don't know what that is, but different for everybody. But we just don't have time. So for me, like, how do we get closer to being time billionaires so that we can reinvest that time into our families, into our body, temple, take care of yourself, have energy and vitality, and then go figure out how to make more money with your business?
Let me ask maybe a non-AI question, but more like a fundamental. Remember back in the day, there's like that. I hear these anecdotes all the time. Back in the day, there's some news article said, "Hey, and then by the 1990s, we're going to be working 10 hours a week because of technology is going to be so big." But in the reality, it worked the opposite way. We work more now than we did back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Because like we just took all the extra time and we just filled it with more and bought more stuff and became more thing. How do we avoid that trap when AI buys back our time, so to speak?
Ooh. We are walking into an era of AI and business where, as of the time of me saying this, Elon Musk said just a couple of days ago that a computer with access to a spreadsheet and AI can already handle up to 50% of the job of people that just type and move mouses for a living. So if you're a knowledge worker and you use a computer, something like 50% of your job is already capable of being done by AI. And the reason why it's not is because of inertia. This is the inertia that you're describing. We have this fetish, we fetishize. There's this like Protestant work ethic thing that American has. And like, we've lost the Protestantism, but we kept the hard work thing. This is like all the work and none of the payoff. But like, so I think AI is going to accelerate at such a clip, man, that like, it's just going to completely take off the map, the mundane stuff that we do. Okay. I'll give you an example. I can't remember the dates on this stuff. You could look it up. There was you know what a computer originally was? It was a group of human beings that computed stuff. They had like buildings full of like men and women that just did math on like your interest statement for the bank and like just computed stuff all day long. Okay. And then we came up with this thing called a computer. And now there are no more human computers, right? So that's going to happen over and over and over and over again. So there's going to be a lot of things that we do that we just don't need to do, like at all. And so I think that's going to happen at a harder and faster rate than our fetishizing the need to work really hard. But people are going to work hard anyway. How many rich people do you know, or really wealthy people that okay, I don't want to pick on anybody, but like, or name names, but let's just think of the top business influencers. They've got massive audiences.
Yeah.
They've got plenty of wealth. I mean, maybe not for their standards, but by most people's standards, they have almost everything they could possibly want, but they are addicted to hustling and grinding and just like more.
Yeah.
Like, now I respect their right to choose that path in life. Do your thing. Freedom is my religion. I believe you should do what you want, right? Ethically and all of that. And dude, there's so much more of this life to be lived, like parenting and like purpose and passion and helping people and like creating beauty and art. And like, there's this whole other part of life that we can experience. And it's my hypothesis that the more we get a taste of our ability to create, because we are creators created by a creator, that we go back to who we are and our real purpose and why we're here, that we're going to fall less in love with the work that isn't aligned with our purpose and our zone of genius. Now, the problem is that a lot of people are creating and they're working 80-hour weeks or whatever, like to your point, and they're working on crap that isn't in their zone of genius. It is not aligned with who they want to be. It is not aligned with what lights them up. It's just work to make money, to go watch more Netflix and buy more crap that they don't need. But like, I feel like, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, this is like the key to my view of the future of abundance is like, I think when human beings get access to their own creation, they create things, literally anything, like humans, art, spreadsheets, AI stuff, like they immediately remember, or they get this sense of like, oh, like this feels good because this is what I'm here to do, is to create stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the more we can get ourselves back into a place where we're creating stuff that's aligned with where our interests are, that is a stronger force than this like weird, hustle thing that we got from, Protestant immigrants that founded this country. Amazing, not knocking on that. It got us where we are. It's amazing. It's glorious. I'm teaching it to my kids too, but all things in balance, man. Like if we don't have enough time to like create and enjoy that part of our lives, then I think we missed the memo on this life stuff. That's my thought.
That's good. Should we move on to number 2? So first one, getting rich through AI, time.
First one is get your time.
Okay.
Like get time back in the obvious ways. You don't have to go out and automate everything. You don't have to go like buy all these tools. Please don't go buy a bunch of tools. Just buy the ones that solve the specific job. Okay. And in that case, time. That's just one framework for analyzing your time, attacking with AI. Now let's just go into like business. Okay. So whether you're an investor or you're an entrepreneur, most of the time your business won't grow or your portfolio isn't growing because you've screwed up the foundation somewhere. Just like in a house, like we had this 1-story house in LA, just outside of Manhattan Beach, and I really wanted to add a second story. But like it was like a 1950s house and the foundation would not support a second story. And I wouldn't support the time it took to go argue with the county to fix everything and get it done. So I ended up selling that house and moving to Texas. But like, it's like, dude, like you can't build more stories on a crappy foundation because what'll happen? It's going to fall apart, right? It's dangerous with houses. But just because we don't physically have something hit us in our business or in our portfolio, it's just as dangerous to the future, right? So get the foundation nailed. And so what I'm about to say, experienced people are going to want to tune it out and ignore me. But I'm telling you, you're wanting to tune me out is directly proportionate to your inability to hit your next level of growth, okay? This is it. Like the next step is get really clear on your audience, okay? Really, really clear. And what I mean by that is like your ideal buyer, the ideal renter, whatever it is in your situation. And if you've done that once and you think you know what it is and it's a static thing, like one and done, you're very wrong. Because we're all changing. Everyone's evolving. People's value systems are changing. So like markets like bob and weave and their intent changes all the time, right? And so like being able to understand who your buyer is, the people that's, you got to take money out of someone else's bank account and put it into yours. That's where money comes from. Yeah, it comes from value creation, all these things. But at the end of the day, you got to go get money or crypto or money market funds and out of their stuff and into yours, right? So who is that you're doing that for? And where are they at? Like what's keeping them up at night? What are their pain and problems? What's the paradise they're currently dreaming about? And that's constantly changing, right? So if you don't have a feedback loop back into who your market is, then you need one. Because that's what's going to allow you to make amazing offers, right? To get money from them and create value for them. That's what's going to allow you to make amazing content that they actually want to pay attention to and not just like have the attention span of a goldfish, like 3.4 seconds. They actually want to engage it because you're talking right into the movie that's happening in their head, right? And so that's the thing is like most people haven't done that. A lot of good entrepreneurs have not taken time to do that. If you're a marketer, that's like brass tacks. But the thing that marketers miss and that experienced entrepreneurs miss is it's not a one-time thing. It's a feedback loop. Okay. So how can I use AI to do that? Okay. So let's say I have an established business. I can use AI to look at like all of my customer service emails, all of my sales calls, all of my onboarding calls. If I'm a coach, the coaching sessions, the questions people are asking, how they're interacting in my WhatsApp group, whatever interaction points you have with your people, whether they're before they buy from you, while they're buying from you, or after they're buying for you, can be recorded, captured, right? Capture, catalog, convert. First, we capture that in transcripts through recorded calls. Then we catalog it. So this is sales, this is onboarding, this is whatever. And then we convert it through AI. We feed it to AI and we have AI tease out the patterns. What's keeping my people up at night right now? What are they really frustrated by? Right? What are they really asking for? And then we can so one of my favorite things to do is two things, right? Use AI. Let's say you just bought from me, okay? Mm-hmm. One of the first things I like to do, besides ask for a referral right after you buy from me, which is not obvious, but you should do that, is I'll ask, why did you almost not buy from me? Mm. What do you think I'm trying to unearth there?
Dude, that's so good.
Yeah. What do you think I'm trying to get there?
The objections that
objection that they overcame in their own head, right? So if I don't ask that, if I don't capture that, right? It's a 3-step process, capture, catalog. If I don't ask it and record it and capture it with AI, it sits in their head and that's gold that I left unmined. I'm like 1 inch from gold. All I had to do was ask.
Dude, that just changed my life.
Yeah?
Dude, that's so good.
Take those transcripts, feed it back into a handful of places. Yeah. Feed it back into your marketing machine if you make YouTube or short form content. Make content about it. Talk about that objection. Take it from an objection and make it an obstacle that you can just walk around in your marketing. So that when they get to your buy page or your sales team on a sales call, it's not an objection. You've already handled it way, way, way up the football field, right? Secondly, give it to your sales team. Put it in however you do in sales. Hopefully you have a script. Sales is mostly like a good script and tone and like script adherence and tone. So put it in the objections that people are likely to have and have them anticipate it, right? I hear you. And then like give the objection. Right. And then give a case study of how many people said the same thing, but they overcame it and here's the results they have. So like right off the bat, that can change your whole, sales and marketing game by making what you say more effective to help drive sales and create value. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. Next thing you can do is like, if you haven't effectively addressed that objection in how you deliver value, then go fix your product and service, dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like go fix what it is that you deliver to the marketplace to get money so that you're giving people what they want or what they thought they were buying. Because everyone goes through this song and dance in their head, where they make they buy on emotion and they justify with logic. Well, whatever's going on in that equation in their head, the emotion and the logic, dude, make sure you give it to them so that they will refer you and buy your stuff over and over and never churn and always pay their rent on time or their SaaS subscription or whatever it is in your case, right? So that's the next step, called step 2, is like use AI to create feedback loops to get dialed on who your people are and who they're becoming and what's going on in the movie inside their mind. Super easy, dude. All you got to do is ask. Even better, you don't even have to ask. You can have a voice agent call them right after they buy and be like, would you, give me 5 minutes of your time and I'll give you a cookie for that. I'll give you Amazon gift card or extra access to the guru or whatever the thing, bonus course. And just have AI talk to them. Just be like, but announce it. Hey, this is Sally. I'm an AI employee at Acme Corp. And I'm just calling to ask about your experience with, Joe, your sales rep. Can I ask you 3 simple questions? It'll take 5 minutes of your time and I'll give you a cookie. Here's a cookie. Yeah, great. And then you ask, and one of the questions is, why did you almost not buy? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just think about all the ways where you interact with your people, where they leave you clues of how they're feeling that you could feed back into marketing and feed back into sales to make every hour and every dollar you invest in sales and marketing way more effective.
Yeah, I'm going to add at the First Deal right now. So somebody joins First Deal, the education program I have. We'll have them do a survey. AI can do it, so it doesn't cost me extra time or money. And ask those questions, referrals, and why didn't you? What was it? Why didn't you almost not buy?
Why'd you almost not buy?
Why'd you almost not buy? Yeah, and then we'll give them a cookie. I don't know.
Yeah, give them an incentive.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Make something with AI and that's the incentive.
Yeah. They're also excited at that point because they just spent money, they just joined a new thing. I just find it also helpful. Like if I was in their shoes or if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, oh, that's cool customer service. Like they really want to improve. They want to get better. Like they want to know, even the question of like, what do you expect out of this program? Like what are you looking forward to would be super helpful to be like, oh, they care about what I expect. Like not just what they've put on the plate, but they want to know what I want to eat. And like, that's cool.
100%. Yeah. Come back to expectations and promises. That's in step 5. So put a pin, open loop for you guys to finish the video.
All right.
That's step 2.
Cool.
Just feedback loops, understand where your market's at, and then actually do something about it. Help them out, dude. Like, where are they at? And they're changing. Everything changes. Like, let me give you an example. Like September 10th versus September 12th, 2001. Do you think people's lives and their intent changed a little bit?
Yeah.
Because something really important happened on the 11th, right? Pretty terrifying. So like their whole psychology, how they think about the future, how they think about almost most things flipped. And what's happening now is like every 6 to 9 minutes, social media, the news, Greenland, whatever, like there's something that like akin to that moment that's shocking your parasympathetic nervous system and hijacking your intent. So you kind of want to track where they're at, because people's psychology and their hope and their fears, they're constantly pivoting. The big picture is probably the same, but the details matter. And that's where you get the most leverage, is understanding the details. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, cool. Door number 3. And again, this is going to sound super basic if you, or let's say you're already, more than multi-7 figures in your business. But if you're like not past 5 million a year, at least on the business side and maybe on the investing side, it's mostly because of this thing I'm about to say. Your offer, like what you sell into the marketplace is not what they want. Okay. There's like a lot of analogies for this. Like my favorite one, I think it was Gary Halbert, a famous copywriter, who talked about selling day-old cheeseburgers to a starving market. And that sounds terrible, but like it's to prove a point. Like if you have the right offer for the right market, sales and marketing becomes irrelevant. Okay, Naval Ravikant said something. It was like, I'm going to butcher this, but it was like, if you do sales, your marketing sucks. If you do marketing, your product sucks.
Yeah.
And then Dan Kennedy famously said, another like marketer, he's like, it's the offer, stupid. Like if people argue over like button colors and all these things optimized, but it's your offer, right? If you have a great offer in the right market, all you have to do is just get out of the way, just show them, right? The thing that we were at in Mexico with Taki, this awesome exercise, which I totally copied, by the way, where you make your offer and you just slide your offer across the table. It's like a couple people and all they can do is thumbs up or thumbs down. It's like the truth serum, dude.
Yeah.
And everyone in that room was my target market. And I got 0 thumbs up. I was like, whoops. I was like, I got a great offer. It's like, apparently not. So like there's 9 elements of a really good offer. You know, Alex Hormozi literally wrote the book on it, synthesizing a bunch of other people's information and adding his own sauce. But each of those things, think about it as like a menu or dials you can turn, right? To make your offer great. Most people's offer does not have a clear and believable promise. That's step 1. Does you have a clear and believable promise? That's transformative. Like before you were here and after you're going to be here, it's clear, super clear. And most people don't make clear and believable promises because their product sucks. And so they actually can't promise it. Or what happens is they promise it and they don't deliver it and they have really warped businesses. Hello, every internet marketer.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, that's the first thing, is a clear and believable promise. I'm not going to go through all 9, but I will say that there's 9 of them. In fact, if you go to dmjoe.com, send me the word beard. I'm going to give you a bunch of resources. I'll tell you what they are at the end. But like there's 9 of them.
I know one of these was, we did it in at the 50 event in Vegas, right? I'm assuming that's one of the resources
where offer optimizer.
The offer, yeah.
Awesome.
Phenomenal. I said
crazy,
my
right?
whole team, it's crazy. So stick around and we'll get you that.
Yeah. So like, one of the many things I'll send you if you send me the word beard is a bot that we have that it takes a few tiny bits of information from you. And then it'll give you a 15-point analysis of your offer, tell you where it's weak, tell you what to work on for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. But like you're probably missing something. So like a clear and believable promise. Next one is you want to have proof, right? Most people can't make a clear and believable promise because their product sucks, which means they also don't have enough proof, but they haven't done it for enough people. And as they say, the bigger the promise, the bigger the proof. And that right there will change most people's offers. Another one that I think people really miss is risk reversal. So some kind of a guarantee. So think about like money back guarantees on a spectrum. On the left side of the spectrum, it's like, you know, let's say I have a coaching practice. It's like, you know, month-to-month commitment, cancel anytime, no contract required. That's some kind of risk reversal guarantee, but it's kind of weak. Somewhere in the middle is money back guarantee, and somewhere on the right is like triple money back guarantee, keep all the bonuses, and I'll send you a $100 Amazon gift card. You have nothing to lose. But like, you know, when your offer, your promise, and your proof are like meh, it's almost always the guarantee that will push people over the line. Or if they're fire, great promise, lots of proof, and the guarantee is fire, that's the logic that people will use to justify the emotional decision when they purchase.
This is why I've tried, you know, I probably had a dozen different education type companies in my life. And the one I mentioned earlier, first deal, this is why it worked out so well. It was like, get your first deal in the next 12 months or your money back. It was so clear. Like, what do I get? What's the promise? And then we actually deliver on it. We've got so many testimonials, like they just come all the time. And then we guarantee it. If you show up and do the work, we have a condition on it. You have to show up like half the calls. If you show up in half the calls and you don't have a deal, get a refund. It's so easy to sell that because it's just a clear offer and it's a clear risk reversal. And anyway, that's why that's like one thing I've learned in Better Life, or now we call it Freedom Accelerator, has struggled since the beginning because it was like, well, what do you get? Well, it's a bunch of real estate investors who are trying to live a better life and hit goals and like all important, but what's the clear deliverable? What's the promise? I didn't have it. So I can't, if I don't have a clear promise, I didn't have a guarantee. Anyway, we just pivoted to be like, we want you to make $10K a month in passive income in the next 3 years. That's what we're going to help you do. Now, at least we got that part covered. And a lot of that came from doing the offer optimizer from you, is when I realized like, oh yeah, this is a terrible offer. So anyway, we're working on it. I don't have a guarantee yet, but I'm still trying to think, what does that look like? What's the guarantee? Is it the Costco guarantee of like ask for a refund anytime? Or is it the, a conditional one, show up a certain number of calls? I'm not sure yet, but I know I need one for that reason.
You want me to give you the hint on how to figure it out? Ask your market. Just ask your people that already bought from you.
Yeah.
Hey, like what kind of guarantee would make you feel good about this? Like what's the guarantee that would be like you absolutely want? And then what's like the minimum you would need to buy? Ask enough people that.
I'm thinking even the people who like those who we do a sales call and somebody decides not to buy, I'd love to ask them what kind of guarantee would have pushed you over the edge?
Yeah.
To those people.
Great data.
Yeah. That'd be great data.
Yeah. And so we're now only on 3 of the 9, right? Of like the elements of a killer offer.
Yeah.
And there's 6 more. So send me the word beard, dmjoe.com, put you in my Instagram inbox. I'll send you the offer optimizer. It has the list. It'll give you the checklist. Like that's just 3 of the 9. So dial in your offer, dude, and use AI to deliver on your offer because it's so much like before we were recording, you're showing me this like content, like social media management system that you vibe coded on Lovable.
Yeah.
Dude, like right off the bat, I'm like, that's fire. And if you had a content like audience, that would be a killer lead magnet or a bonus.
Yeah, I know. I would love to. Like, I don't have an audience that cares about content, but I'm like, that's where my brain goes is like, who has that audience that I could go to, like Taki, and could I be like, hey, Taki, let's give this to your people as you can lead, is there a way for me to do that? And now I work in it. Yeah. So I think that stuff is super fascinating.
You can just make stuff that makes your business better than give it away.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Or make stuff that makes their businesses better or their investment journey better or whatever, right? Like, for example, like in the first deal, it's like, okay, like I'm sure you already have this. Like a deal analyzer or like a diligence checklist with a deal analyzer. Like don't get the deal until you go through these things and the GPT will tell you.
Which we haven't done a lot of AI with it. We've done a little bit, but not a lot. A lot of it's still like a spreadsheet. Tell me if I'm wrong here. The last time I tried to use AI to analyze a spreadsheet to like analyze a rental property, terrible. It was absolute garbage.
You probably did that before September of last year.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Well, so it's a lot better now. And who should I use for that?
The latest models are all at something like between 140 and 150 IQ, which is 150 IQ is like Nobel laureates. That's 1 in 10 million humans. And, Claude Opus 4.5. I'm going to date myself. I want people to watch this content for years.
Yeah, I know.
The current version of Claude Opus is crushing analysis.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of Claude for coding, analysis, and copy.
Yeah. My fear is, and tell me if I'm misplaced here, let's say I run the numbers on a rental property. There's probably 20, 30 things I got to work in there. What's the insurance going to be? What's the taxes? All that. Obviously, I have to put my inputs in just like I would with a spreadsheet. But at the end of the day, it gives me a number, and I look at that number and I go, "Oh, great! It's going to let's say cash flow $300 a month." What do they call it? The hallucinations of AI. It would only take one spot somewhere in there and I would never know if it screwed that up. And so the number at the end, I can never trust it. Where a spreadsheet, I know I can trust it because I can go back. Would you is there a way around that, or I'm thinking that correctly? I still need to use a spreadsheet.
Export a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
You check the math. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I think is that a place where you can trust it? I haven't seen your calculator. So
yeah.
You can back test it basically. They can have you can run like a Monte Carlo analysis and do like 1,000 simulations and see how many errors it made.
Yeah, interesting.
If it makes like 3 out of 1,000 errors, like probably okay.
Yeah.
Probably less risk than fat fingering a cell.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about the 5 things. Okay. First one was time. Second one was audience because audiences are fluid. Third one is offer. And there's 9 elements of a killer offer. We just talked about 3 that if you nailed, you'd make more money. The fourth one is distribution of message. So if I have an amazing offer, super clear audience clarity, and I have an amazing offer, I've in many ways made sales and marketing relevant. I just have to make more offers. But what if that was true and we did awesome marketing, right? And so what is awesome marketing? Awesome marketing is not going viral. I have right now on my Instagram, I have a reel has like over 9 million views. It's like, as far as like performing posts that drive money into my business, it is one of the worst.
Yeah.
One of the worst. Makes me look cool. Makes me feel good. But
what made it go viral? What was it?
Oh man, we could do a whole episode on that. It was just like, it was something about ChatGPT.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, how to make ChatGPT sound less like a robot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to go viral on Instagram? It's like, package another viral clip, address a broadly felt narrow problem for your market, and you've just set the conditions of likely going viral. Anyway, but a lot, I got like people in there like teenagers in there, like risen me in the comments or whatever the kids are saying. It's not even my target market, right? But great content does one simple thing, dude. It basically talks to your market. Remember, your specific market. Now we have those signals of what they're interested in consistently about the problems they're facing and what they should do to fix them. And then humanizes you so they know that you're like a human and not like a business robot. That's it. And so because consistency creates trust and trust creates transactions. Time on brand. If I spend more time with you, you help me solve more of my problems. I take even 1 or 2 pieces of action off of your content that you create for me. Like, I'm probably going to buy from you if I'm in your target market. So when I'm making content, we're about to launch a YouTube channel. Like, I don't care about a lot of views. If I can get like 2,000 to 4,000 views a video and get 50% of those people to take one action from that video and they're in my target market, they're going to buy from me, dude. Yeah. Like, for sure, they're going to buy from me. Like, I'm unique in my lane and good at what I do. My offer is outstanding, right? So like, that's what I'm going for. That's what I suggest you go for. Use AI, talk about the problems that people are struggling with, show actual examples, like show, don't tell, of how you fix that. Show proof that you've done it for other people and or yourself and or a famous person who's solved a similar problem in the past, and just keep making content like that consistently all the time. Now, you could do that organically. It's free. It's one of the best AI algorithms in the world to propagate your message. It's crazy. It's crazy how much of a lift it has on your business if you start doing it consistently. Okay. And I did not take this seriously for years. I started taking it seriously like last summer, and it helped us add like an extra $1 million to our business. We have a baby business, this new one. But that's it. Use AI to make content. Like, and I'm not saying like go download the transcript of Alex Hormozi's video and then be like, I want to sound just like that, but with these topics. And then you read it like a robot from a teleprompter. I mean, just like use it to outline stuff and then talk into things the same way you would talk to your market, is like if we were sitting across from each other like we are now, right? And then just talk and help and be consistent. And if you're consistent, then you will make more money. You'll get attention, you'll make money. Now, obviously, they have to play the game a little bit, like double down on what works and discard what doesn't. That's organic. I know people probably don't want to do organic content, so let me give you the other cheat code here. Do paid content. It's like, just make great content. It doesn't have to be that great, and then just pay to promote it, to get it in front of your people. Because the greatest AI algorithm on the planet for marketing and propagating messaging, YouTube and Google advertising engine, and the Meta advertising engine, and if it's your people, the TikTok advertising engine. It's outstanding, dude. And it's so outstanding that like I think in the next 24 or 36 months, you won't even have to make the ad. You just have a killer offer. It'll see the offer. It knows who it's for. It'll make the creative. It'll find the people on the internet. Let's say you want to like your market is like, I don't know, like Asian postmenopausal women. It'll just make an ad with an Asian postmenopausal woman in a background that those people tend to click on and say the words that need to get them to click on and go in the ad. So they'll do all the creative, all the matching, and all the pulling people in. And the difference maker won't be how good your creative is. The difference will be how good your offer is. But we're not there yet. So you still have to do some creative. So use AI to make content. Super easy. Map your audience, where they are, where they want to be. Maybe come up with like 5 pillars. And then like every week, like write, speak, or take pictures and write about solving their problems.
How do you feel the technology is today? And we'll date this episode because it's getting better every day, which, by the way, that is super fun about the AI stuff, is every day there's new stuff that's cool. Like, this is so fun. But like Google VO 3.1, let's just say, is probably the best video / audio that exists as of today, unless maybe you disagree. But like that, it's pretty darn good. It's 8 seconds though, but you can get it to go. Should we be using that to make videos? Like, should we use video content to make videos like that, or are we not there yet?
I don't know. It depends. If you're in e-commerce and you have like a mass market audience and they don't really care about that, they just need the information and you have a great product, like that's a viable path. Like definitely like AI generated content is a viable path. Like I'm so in this, like now I'm in like this wisdom economy. I run a mastermind, like I'm thought leadering or whatever. It sounds so weird.
You're an influencer.
I'm influencing.
Yeah, you're influencing people.
I'm a key opinion leader or whatever. That like the trends that I see in our world are actually, and I would imagine like if you're a real estate investor and you want to like endear people to you, I think it's actually better to go the opposite, like less scripted, like directionally correct of what your people want and then get better over time, but don't read scripts. Like do it live, right? Like the most
doing it live.
The most popular people on the internet right now, and again, we're not going for popularity, but it's a proxy worth evaluating, are live streamers, dude.
Yeah.
They're more popular than celebrities.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like obnoxiously so, right? So if you look at
I don't get, but then I realize like dude, why would I watch people play video games or live stream stuff? Like,
but for our generation, yeah. For younger people that grew up with the internet, like everything is so polished and so fake and so manipulative and so angled and so you insert the thing that just watching people behave normally, it's like there's something refreshing about it, right?
Agreed.
And so like, I think if you make content, like it would be awesome to just go live. Just go live and riff, dude. And then edit it out and then turn that into your clips, because at least people know it's you. It's not you staring at a teleprompter or trying to be someone that you're not, or trying to make things up that aren't, like, just like there's some value in that. And I get it. And people play that game. They have lots of views and followers. I don't think that's going to matter in the future. I think people follow people. So show them who you are. And whatever you're doing in this step, the fourth step, like propagating your message with AI, don't forget to propagate you, because people buy from people.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I could literally get in front of a camera live or on YouTube and just say like, duty, honor, guns, country, loyalty. And like I'm just saying words, but who would I be attracting in if I said those words? Duty, country, God, loyalty, honor, duty.
Republicans,
Midwest.
Conservative-ish, right? Yeah. I didn't even say anything.
Yep.
So if my content is embodied and I'm just using like when Grant Cardone says it's your duty to be successful, he's not talking to liberals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't think about duty the same way that conservatives do.
Yeah.
And again, it's not an endorsement or an indictment of Grant or any of that. I'm just saying, like, if I know my people, then if I get on and I start talking about, injustice and inclusion and equality and fairness and I'm going to pull in a different audience, right? So like just in the words that I use and the values that they represent, if I start using those, that'll show you who I am.
Yeah.
As long as I believe it, don't be incongruent. Do whatever you want, actually. I just don't recommend you're incongruent. It's exhausting. Like you'll wake up one day and hate your life. Well, but that's the thing. So like use AI to make content, be yourself, go as close to live as possible, and be as consistent as possible.
Will you logic check something with me? I've been thinking about this a lot lately. The theory I have here is we are in the last era of being able to become an influencer easily. And what I mean by that is I like to use the metaphor, but I'll bring it wider, of OnlyFans. So right now, OnlyFans, there's millions of girls on it that are making really good money. A lot of them making really good money. Pretty soon, the next year, AI will be so good that you can't tell at all the difference between an AI fake girl and an AI real girl. When AI can do that, it will do it at scale, and it'll flood OnlyFans with millions of women who are not necessarily perfect, because the algorithm will know what people want, and it'll flood it with just an incredible amount. I'm not endorsing OnlyFans. I hate OnlyFans, but I think it's a good metaphor for like the rest of the entire world. When that happens, the value of an OnlyFans girl drops significantly. So unless you already at that point have an established brand that people know, trying to start new when there's a million new everyday AI girls, it'll be impossible pretty much to stand out, because there's just too much competition. If you already have your base established, like you've already got your beachhead and you're attacking a new thing, you're going to be fine. So I think I'm going to be fine. I think you're going to be fine. I think Cam's going to be fine. But if you're like, oh, I'm going to make content in 5 years from now. So again, broaden OnlyFans, because I think it's a very microcosm. Go all influencers in general, all celebrities in general. It's going to be really hard in 5 years, 3 years from now to establish yourself. So like now is the last chance, is my theory.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would also, this is just a hypothesis. I think people that like are 30 and older are going to care more about humans.
Mm-hmm. I too.
And all these other generations are just going to come in, and it's like, you're going to see people licensing characters like Disney characters for their brand to be their brand influencer. And it's an AI thing, whether human or cartoon or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like if somebody were to go license Gabby's dollhouse in Gabby and try to sell anything, my 3 soon-to-be 4-year-old daughter would be like, Daddy, give me all your money. I want to get that thing, right?
Yep.
And so like, if we're fools, if we think that little girl or little boy inside of you goes away, right? So that's going to continue happening, right? Yeah. So that seems like a very obvious pattern. We're going to see licensed characters that are effectively AI avatars, but they're IP from other people's stable house. So then the business move for larger companies and people that want to play it is to like collect IP that you can use to become your influencer. So it may not have to be us.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, if I could license IP and have it move the needle for Prime, my AI training business, I would rather do that. I happen to like doing this. We were talking about earlier, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a youth pastor. So there's some thing in me that likes this, but I imagine a lot of people don't. So I think yes, and I think there's an age demographic cutoff that cares about real humans, and then I think after that we'll be able to license IP or build IP that can effectively accomplish the same thing. However, you're still going to have to play the game. You're still going to have to put out content. I still think like, God willing, it doesn't turn out to be like, what's that movie, Idiocracy?
Yeah.
God willing, people are still thinking critically and trying to solve their problems. But you got to remember, man, like, people watch content for a variety of reasons, mostly because of entertainment and education.
Yep.
Okay. We're already in a place where you can learn almost anything with AI at your pace, adapted to you for free. Or very cheap.
Do you think we'll see a Luddite movement coming back in? Like the idea of like, I don't like technology. And so you'll see whole communities spring up. Like that's my theory is entire communities will opt out.
There's going to be, I don't want to speak this into existence because I think it's going to be a miserable life for them, but you can choose whatever path you want. I support that right and fully would defend it with my life. Every major technological change in the history of Western society that I'm aware of has had some uprising, some kind of force pushback, some kind of movement that sprung out of that.
Yep.
In many ways, and again, like this is not an endorsement or an indictment for liberal thinking, but like what we would commonly call like wokeism and that kind of stuff, like you can really trace it back, dude. Like it was really birthed, not like, maybe it wasn't birthed, but it was really like the seeds of it were planted and bloomed quickly on the back half of the 2008 financial crisis. Right? That was where people were like, come on, like how much more are institutions going to take advantage of the individual, the little guy? Like, come on, like you tank the whole world economy and nobody gets in trouble for it. Whereas like I go 5 miles over the speed limit and get a freaking parking ticket I can't afford. Like there's just still, so that stuff like that is going to happen. It's going to be a messy transition, I think. So I do think people will opt out. I do think people will choose to go the other direction. And great, there's probably some beauty that they'll find in that. And on the other side of that, their kids will probably reintegrate and want to have all the fruits of the many new things that are available as a result of AI, right? So,
well, let's go back to getting rich.
Okay, getting rich.
Until then, let's get rich. A summary of where we're at so far.
So we talked about time, free up time. We talked about feedback loops to get close to your ideal buyer or your market. We talked about, know and optimize for the 9 elements of an ideal offer. And AI can help you with that. I'll send you a tool for that. We talked about using AI to propagate your message, right? So that people actually know your offer exists. And if you do a good job, you show them who you are so they love you too, because people buy from people. The 5th one, I told you I'd come back to this earlier. Dude, deliver on your promises. Deliver on your promises. I don't just mean the clear and believable promise you made in your offer. I mean, the minute we start engaging and I start selling you something, there's a counter in our heads after we buy something where we keep track of the micro promises that are made and kept. So it's like a score. So you have to make and keep promises to keep clients and customers. I don't care if these are tenants that are renting from you and you've got a gazillion doors or 5 doors, or you're running a SaaS platform, or you're running a coaching business, which I've done all 3, not a gazillion doors, not yet. But you got to make and keep your promises. And so like it makes it really easy to make and keep promises that don't require humans inside the game of AI when you sell something. And what's nice about that is I can sell more and more and more without hiring more and more. So I make more margin. So what does that mean? It means if I join your deal and you have like a deal analyzer, but it's not just a deal analyzer, it's a deal analyzer that actually fits deals for financial fit and your personality and vision fit. I'm just making this up.
Sure.
Because you might be able to hit your number on short terms, but like if you have different vision, that might not be in the cards, right? So That's really interesting. You can make that promise and deliver it in totally automated fashion with like maybe 7 days of actual vibe coding work and testing, right? And so like we're entering a world where, Sam Altman said that we're entering the fast fashion era of SaaS. If you know what fast fashion is, like they just spin up fashion trends based on what they're seeing on the internet and sell people things immediately, and then they're gone immediately. So we're seeing the same thing in SaaS. So you don't have to be a SaaS or a software entrepreneur to do the same things with AI and software through vibe coding and LLMs and chatbots to just make and keep promises. So like to me, the fifth thing, if you really want to get rich, if you've done the first 4 things faithfully, use AI to make and keep promises so people stick around for you, and then use AI to automate every single part of your business that is already robot work. Like if you have SOPs and it's the same thing every time and it's stable and there's no variance, that should go to an end-to-end workflow or an agent that does it for you. What's nice about that, again, I can sell more stuff without hiring more people, which means what? More margin for my business. Okay. And that is actually, if everything I shared was the foundation, this is where you get rich. That is where you make all your money. So imagine let's put it in real estate terms because we talk a lot about business and operators, but to me, they're the same. Let's say I buy apartment complexes, okay? And let's just say my process is, sourcing, diligence, acquisition, stabilization, and optimize, where I get my cash out or I hold it and scale it forever, right? Good teams, good management. Which one of those is the most painful and where people screw up and lose a lot of money? Probably all the steps, but if let's say your experience, like which one has the most labor and humans and messiness involved?
Stabilizing?
I would think it's stabilizing, but you guys are way more experienced than I am.
I was going to say it all sucks, but
yeah.
Stabilizing.
We'll go stabilizing.
Stabilizing, right? So stabilizing sucks, dude. And if you're at scale, it's really difficult. So use so now I can, this is not making and keeping promises. This is actually just stuffing the sausage, but I still have to make and keep promises to my vendors. I still have to make and keep promises when things are, when I can make leases available, when I can cash out to my investors. So it's similar, but it's analogous. So go into the stabilization, which arguably the hardest thing to AI, because like contractors and hammers and people showing up on time and hopefully they're not drunk and all the things and don't disappear. But like, what about materials and pricing and inventory and storage and like being able to like buy in advance and do materials plan? Like if you disaggregate stabilization, and again, you guys have done this more than I have, there are things in there that AI can help you think through, plan, and strategize on now. AI can do that now. It couldn't do that in September. Okay, the latest models can help you think and strategize effectively, not pie in the sky nonsense. So like you can actually tear apart stabilization, and we're doing this with somebody right now where we're tearing apart stabilization at scale in their business and going, what the hell can we do with AI here? And it's fascinating how much you can do. Can it not yet? The robots are coming, but they're not here yet. But so I can't maybe change the way that we bang hammers, but I can change the incentives. Depending on the geo, especially from a national consideration, like I got stuff in all over the country, I can change the incentives for how we bang hammers, and I can change materials. Now I'm like not that far into this work effort with this person, but like it's already opening my eyes. So like that's the same thing. That would be stage 5 in real estate. Stage 5 in your business is just like do the same thing for your whoever you deliver value for, and make sure that the boring, repetitive stuff is handled by AI and automation. Because it's better, faster, and cheaper than a human. Then take your humans and put them on value add stuff that they wouldn't have had time for. Delighters, things that make people happy, where they can go out of their way to add more value to your end person. I'll give you an example. Famous one, Tony Hsieh, former friend, rest in peace, started Zappos. Zappos got acquired by Amazon for $1 billion. They're famous for doing no sales and marketing. And what they did is they had the best customer success team on the planet, and you would call and be like, ask for anything, like, hey, can you order me a pizza? And they do it because Tony realized that service level was his marketing, because he was just being net helpful. And if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Zig Ziglar, right? And so like, that's what I'm saying. If you want to keep your humans and pay them to be delighters and do things that your competitors aren't or can't do. So that's the game. I mean, that's like after helping, 369 businesses install AI and automation over the last 13 months, like that's the whole playbook I take people through. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so last thing I'll say, this is bonus, extra credit, is let's say you ignore everything I just said. You want to figure out where to apply AI in your business, just apply it to the biggest constraint. Businesses are either demand constrained or they're supply constrained. Demand is like sales, marketing, show up rate, close rate, onboarding, that. Or supply is I've got plenty of leads and sales, too much in fact, and I've got to figure out how to deliver on our promises. So just point AI at that And you'll probably be a lot better off than you would if you just bought a bunch of tools or started automating dumb stuff for AI's sake, right?
Yeah, I heard you say that. I think it was first in Cabo and then at the 50 event in Vegas, where like I realized what I was doing is I was applying AI to whatever I thought was the most fun at the moment. Yeah. Like what was exciting. So I spent a lot of time on Google VO 3.1 or whatever. You know, like I just, because that's super fun to me. I like that stuff.
A lot of those videos.
Yeah, you got a lot of those videos. Yeah, I would just send it to all my friends. It was great. I still do. But like, that, I mean, now it's just a hobby, but like, what's the actual constraint? So if I'm going to a very specific real estate investor analogy or example, and I think like a new investor, like, is it the cash you have? Like, do you need more money? Is that your biggest constraint? Is that I can't find deals? Is that I can't manage this? I don't have the time to put into this. Like, figure out what that constraint is, and then ask the question, how can I get AI to open this up? Like, oh, I need more cash. Okay, well, how would I get cash? Well, typically, if you have no money, it's partnerships. Okay, well, how can I use AI to get more partnerships? Well, maybe that's social media. I need to broaden that. Maybe I use AI to build my social media a little better, apply that, so that way I can attract more potential partners to do deals together. Cool. Now I just applied to my constraints. That's how I look at that from like even a newbie
100%.
Real estate investor standpoint.
100%.
Yeah, super helpful for me.
Yep. So, you know, I do think everybody's foundation has something missing in it. That's why I wanted to give this kind of monotonous teardown of like the foundation. And almost everybody's failing on the time thing.
Yeah.
But if like you want the cheat code, just find your constraint by data. Constraint means like if there's a kink in the hose, but there's still water coming out the other side, you don't make a bigger like end of the hose. You go fix the kink and then the water will flow through, right? And so most people don't think like that because they're not systems thinkers. And secondly, they don't know because they're not tracking their data. So if you're not tracking your data, that's your constraint. It's either your inability to or your unwillingness to or both. Go light up your data. Go just literally go into ChatGPT and start prompting and ask like, I want to find the biggest constraint in my business. Here's my business. Walk me through each step of demand and supply. Help me find my constraint and brainstorm how to solve it. Like you could do that right now for free on the free version of ChatGPT. And then you'd have a much more effective, you know, you turn your attention from a floodlight to a laser beam in terms of how you're using AI. And the reason why that matters is like floodlights are great. They light up bright spaces, but like laser beams can cut steel. So like you don't have a lot of time. I'd rather see you cutting steel with AI than lighting things up. Like that's cute. But apply it to your biggest constraint. And if you really want to make money and like run an AI first company and not be demolished by the 16-year-old from Nigeria that is running an AI first company, you know, where you're not, then you follow the 5 steps I went through. So if you go to dmjoe.com, I'm sure I'll put this in the show notes, but dmjoe.com, send me the word beard. I will send you a doc that has like an ideal buyer maker. It'll show you like depths of your ideal buyer, the offer optimizer, some additional bots for making content, like how do you make content based on your ideal buyer and your offer, and how we think about automations, like the different levels of automation and how you should approach that for step 5.
Amazing. Dude, I love it.
So good. This is going to be one of those episodes that I can't wait to go back and listen to.
Yeah, same.
Which I never do that, but.
Well, before we get out of here, 2 quick things. I want to do 2 quick segments. First of all, if people want to work, like what do you guys do, your new business, helping people? I know you're part of why you're here on Maui right now, not just to hang out with me, is you're working with a business here, a buddy of ours. What do you guys do? How can you help people?
Yeah, primarily how we help people is if you have a business that's doing between like $2 and $50 million a year and you want to transform that into an AI first business and you're at some point on that journey or you don't even know where to start, we have a mastermind group called Prime Elite. Probably can't see the shirt, but yeah, Prime Elite. And the main thing that we do is we meet 4 times a year. We carve out 3 days a quarter, 3 sacred days for you to come in and learn about AI and actually build stuff so that you walk out of the room with stuff built that you can deploy, not just like a whole notepad full of stuff you're never going to do. So you can bring your business partner and your team, we break you into little sections and you just get stuff done, meaningful stuff done in the room. Also in the mastermind, like every Tuesday we do a call, we keep you up on the latest stuff. It's probably the most vibrant WhatsApp group I've ever been in. I feel like I've been in every mastermind.
Yeah.
It's the most fire WhatsApp group. Like every day there's like top 1% experts throwing their best stuff in there. So that's the mastermind. That's like, if you don't want to do this alone and you're tired of like fumbling around in the wilderness, like, you know, I think we have the best AI mastermind group on the planet. Another thing that we do, that's like one side of the biz. Other thing that we do is if you have, you know, more than 50 employees, like 50 to 1,000 people in your organization, we train your business on first your leadership team and your whole company on how to use AI, the bottoms up approach, just how to do prompt engineering, how to make GPTs, how to do basic automation so you can get your time back and work on higher value stuff. And then if you, on that side, we go even deeper, we'll help you transform your whole culture. I've said many times on today's show, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. Well, we help people design cultures, systems, and incentives that are designed to be AI first, proven to be AI first at scale, so that you don't, train your team and then they rah it up and then in like 3 weeks they're back to their old ways. Like there's actually systems and culture to support them getting to the next level, like having a Slack channel where you celebrate wins. That's like one of many things. Like you mentioned that before we started recording, as like a force multiplier, these little hinges that swing big doors to change your whole culture. Because at some point of scale in the business, man, if you've got a bunch of people under you, like you can't go do everything. You need to work through your team. You go from me to we, and then you're like, all I can do is work through people. And so that second half of our business is like, how do we empower your people to take charge and go first and wrap their brain and their identity and their workflows around AI so that you don't have to drag them kicking and screaming and they don't have to worry about losing their job.
Beautiful. All right, last segment I want to do. We only do it once in a while, but I think it would fit really well here. I call it For the Gram. The idea is they're just short, like fire round sort of questions that are designed question, answer, 30 seconds. We throw it on the gram. We got 5 to 10 cool clips.
Feed the beast.
All right, number one. And we can just go back and forth. I'm making them up as we go. Just What do you think will do well on social media? First one, how are you training your kids to be good at AI?
I'm training my kids to be good at AI by training my kids to be good leaders that think for themselves. Because AI won't ever think for you. AI is input, process, output. So if my kids have enough discernment and wisdom to think for themselves, they're going to have enough discernment and wisdom to understand intelligence outside of themselves, like AI, to maximize it as a force for good, instead of letting it become an excuse for their thinking or a lazy thing that they abdicate towards or a thing that ruins their brains. It's a thing that enhances them.
Cool. You said this earlier. You talked about training your people to become great prompt engineers. So how would you train your employees to be a great prompt engineer?
This is supposed to be for the gram.
Is that a long one?
Send them to my workshop.
Yeah.
Done.
No. So for how would I train my employees to be great prompt engineers? There's 3 things that you should learn. Number 1 is a base level style of prompting. I call it GRIT: goal, enroll, return, format, instructions, and tailored context. Learn that. If you Google that, there's probably me talking about it somewhere. Second one is you want to learn meta prompting, which is the skill of asking AI to make prompts for you. Use GRIT to ask AI to make prompts for you. Yeah? Then you always have the perfect prompt. Third thing is what I call question-led meta prompting. You use GRIT to ask AI to make a prompt for you. Before it makes the prompt, it asks you questions to collect all the appropriate context that maybe you didn't think about. Now, you can use AI to write the perfect prompt, teach you anything, create a deck, do almost anything, anywhere, in any discipline to the limit of AI's capability. And that's the only 3 things you need to know about prompt engineering to be in the top 1%.
You're a rich dude. I'm a rich dude. You're a rich dude. How do you avoid your kids becoming dirtbags?
Ooh, define dirtbag.
Just like spoiled, entitled. Just older, rough kids, like rough adults, because they're spoiled young rich kids. Because none of us grew up rich, and so we became wealthy. But this is a whole new thing, is having to raise kids that are already wealthy.
Yeah, so as a rich dad, how do I make sure my kids aren't entitled? 3 things. Number 1, I want to make sure they understand challenge. They understand how to push themselves. They understand how to get to the limits, safely get to the limits of what's possible for them and challenge themselves. Number 2, I want all my kids to be elite communicators that understand influence. Elite, amazing communicators that understand influence. And number 3, I want my kids to understand that anything they want to get out of life is on the other side of helping other people get what they need and want, so that they can always be in service to people in a way that's healthy for my kids. If you understand those 3 things, it's hard to be a douchebag and be entitled.
Yeah. Love it. It's great. You have 3 AIs that you're paying for the premium subscription on. What are those?
I was going to ask that same question. That's wild.
There's so, because I spend so much. I've got Grok, ChatGPT, 3 of them.
3 AI tools I'm paying a premium subscription for. What are they? First of all, don't collect tools, identify your constraint, and use AI to attack your constraint with the right tool. I wouldn't walk into building a house with just a hammer. I'd have a whole bunch of tools, right? And I would just use the right tool for the right job. So that being said, I definitely pay the premium subscription for Claude. Hands down, it's the best for code, analysis, and copywriting, which are the 3 things that I spend a lot of time on. Vibe coding, analyzing and strategizing, and then creating copy or content. Just not even close. The second one is N8N. I don't know if there's a premium subscription or token based, but whatever they charge, I pay because that runs 70% of my business because it's automating monotonous workflows in the background of my business. The third one, it's like a 10-way tie, but I'll just say the one that I use the most for me is Gamma. Gamma.app. It is a presentation software that makes decks. And so like I'm teaching on YouTube, I'm teaching in my mastermind, I'm giving keynotes, like I'm teaching my kids, like I'm giving it to my team to teach my team. So I make, like a presentation a day at least, sometimes multiple times, and we're visual learners. So rather than explaining it, I like using Gamma to make beautiful frameworks and representations of what I'm trying to explain so that I can convey the information in a more effective way. So those are my top 3. Now, there's, like I said, like a 10-way tie for number 3. But man, if I just go by what I use the most and what's the most effective, dude, Gamma all day.
Not to argue on that point, but have you played with making decks on Lovable yet?
I have.
Yeah, I actually find that way better looking. I don't know if the functionality is better, but it looks so good compared. So I switched from Gamma now to Lovable for every deck that I make.
Okay, so what are you optimizing for? Look good?
Yeah.
Because in the game of look good, my inner German comes out and I'm like, every detail matters.
Yep.
So I literally have to turn that off with Gamma.
Yes.
If I'm optimizing for maximum understanding conveyed per audience member,
yep,
I don't need it to look perfect.
Yep.
I need it to be visual.
The last thing I did, I went to Gamma. I made the card by card thing that it does. I took that, copied it, put it over on Lovable, and I made Lovable make it look good. And that made me feel good because that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I put animation so it like flowed through it. I made a business plan the other day and I made it like a pitch deck, but I made it flow like an Apple website on Lovable. So it was a pitch deck for a business plan essentially that flowed. But anyway, it's just,
I love it. It's like, how long have you been using Lovable?
About 6 months now, probably.
6 months, yeah. You still got the Disneyland effect?
I know, yeah.
It's or Japan effect, yeah. First time you go to Japan or Disneyland?
I know. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
No, but it really is. It's amazing. And like with Gamma, like for example, just to go into this thing about the German effect, because like I love design. Maybe German's wrong. Like I'm meticulous about the way things look when I turn that part of my brain on, and I want it to look dope. I want it to look good. Like I understand the perspective of being a design snob. But I also understand that there's a massive point of diminishing return.
Oh, so much. Yeah.
So like,
so much.
But when I turn that back on, the way that I mitigate that is like most of we're going to give a presentation, me and Gus at Amber Spears Forums Mastermind like next week. And like I just have Gamma turn off all the frameworks and all the pictures. It's just text.
Yeah.
It's like epically placed text.
Yeah.
And it's just like a couple of words to remember, for me.
Yeah.
And every so often I'll put a visual in there so that it's like, easy to see. But yeah, that's how I get around
that makes sense.
The designed limits of Gamma.
I was on a call yesterday for Freedom Accelerator, which is my like program for more advanced investors. And I was talking through raising capital and how to do that. And I was talking about this idea. And this is just, I think, if you haven't heard this idea before, people listening, it's such a good idea. If you're trying to raise money in the future, I don't care if you're trying to buy a duplex or a 100-unit apartment complex, and you don't have it yet under contract, great. Make a sample pitch deck. That's a sample deal. And then show it to somebody. Like if I were to go to you, Joe, and as maybe a potential investor, and I said, hey, I have nothing to pitch you, but I could use your help looking at my pitch, my deck of a sample deal that's not real. I'm not pitching you. Can you sit with me for 20 minutes and I just show you the whole thing? No one says no to that. So you're like, yeah, of course I'll do that for you. So you sit down, I pitch you this whole deal. You critique my pitch. I'm like, great. And then the secret is, hey, Joe, I'm like, hey, Joe, if I ever do find a deal just like this, would you be interested in hearing about it? No one says no to that. And now you've psychologically committed to it. It doesn't guarantee it, but it's such a great way to build your list. So then I said, to build a sample pitch deck, let me show you guys how easy it is. And right there on the call, I went to Gamma. I said, make me a sample, pitch deck for a duplex, make it, elite and blah, blah, blah. And I just gave it a nice little prompt, threw it in there. And then live on the call in 30 seconds, people watched the whole the fake whatever pitch deck be made. And I think I literally saw people's brains just breaking. Like it's that easy now to like, now you have a pitch deck. It's not even a real one. And you tell people it's not real. So you raise money using AI and yeah.
Dude, so now let's go back to my step 5.
Yeah.
Right? Like use AI to fulfill your promises.
Yeah.
And even promises that you wouldn't even have made. Dude, just like have N8N connect to Gamma, take the output of their spreadsheet, they upload their spreadsheet, they get out a pitch deck.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Could be faux, it could be real.
Yeah.
By the way, I love the saying. I heard this many times in my history. By the way, like for venture stuff, I've raised over $117 million. Wow. Maybe that's a little bit, maybe that's not a lot, but whatever.
It's a lot.
I've heard, well, I've got friends that are like, they go, oh, that's cute. Did that on Tuesday, bro. But like, one of the first things someone sat me down and he said, I'll never forget this. He said, look, dude, when you're raising money, if you ask for money, you'll get advice. If you ask for advice, you'll get money.
Such a great,
so good.
Great line.
Never ever left my head. But people know that. And so like I'll hit up friends like that run family offices or venture funds. I'd be like, hey man, I got a new company I've spun up. Love to get your advice on the raise. They'll respond back, advice and quotes. I'm like, a week. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's true,
It's
like
true.
because nobody wants to be pitched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally my best advice for newbies who want to raise money from take local landlords out to coffee and ask for advice. Have them tell you the whole life story. Like just pick their brain, and that's how you raise money. Is like they'll just like you, and then they'll invest in your deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I love that. There, also just like this is a weird story. A friend of mine told me this story. I don't know if it's true or not. About like he called it like the Russian bank infiltration thing. Basically, like supposedly, and maybe this is a story, and this is not to knock Russians. Group Russians come to America and they're trying to get a bank loan. And right, they're like Russian mobsters. They're trying to figure out this bank loan thing in America. First guy goes in and applies for a loan, and it's like, you don't have a job, you don't have any, like get out of here, ding. And so he's like, oh, I need a job. So it's another Russian that has a job. Like, oh, you got a job? Like, well, what are your references? And do you have any assets? And what's your income? That's your debt to income ratio. And he's like, oh crap, I don't have any of that. So then he gets dinged. They just keep sending people in until everything on the bank's checklist has been deconstructed and they figured it out. So like what I do when I raise money, and also advice I got from somebody, maybe 15 years ago when I started doing this, is I just make a list of 100 people that could fund my deal. And I break them into like 4 quarters. Bottom quarter, next one up, next one up, next one up. Top one is like, it's in a spreadsheet. So I put their names in, and next column, it's like how much money they have, low, medium, high. How strategic are they in my deal? Like, could they give me things other than money, right? And then how likely are they to fund my deal? And then I just filter like for low, medium, high. So like for the low people, I'll put a pitch together, I'll practice it, I'll talk to people about it, and then I'll just go pitch them first or get advice or whatever it takes to get the meeting. And then you know what happens? They start poking holes in my pitch. Ooh, I didn't think about that. And I didn't think about that. Then I go back and make my pitch better, make my pitch better, make my pitch better. Then I go to the next tier.
Yeah, move up.
And now my pitch is better. And then I might get some money from that tier. So now I'm learning as I'm getting capital. When I go to the top 2 tiers, dude, my pitch is, by the time I get to the top, my pitch is bulletproof. I've already got some momentum in the deal. Like a tier 2 investor already probably wants the whole thing. So now I go to the cream of the crop and I'm like, hey, like this whole thing is pretty committed if I want it, but I really like you because of, the deal you did here. And I think you could be super strategic. And then I give them the perfect pitch. I don't have to start with the perfect pitch. I just have to start and have a list. And even if I don't know I'm half-assing it, I guarantee you by the time you get to the end of your list, your pitch is bulletproof, your confidence is through the roof, you've got a little bit of cash, and it's just a way more enjoyable way to fundraise because you manage your own expectations, because in the beginning, it's going to be bad.
Yep.
They're going to tell you no. They're going to almost arrogantly point at things that are you're going to feel dumb for not having them. But if you're expecting that, instead of having either ignorance that's not, that you don't know that that's coming, or expecting that you're perfect because you spent time making the perfect pitch, it just doesn't even hurt. It's like, oh yeah, thanks man, free upgrade. Yeah. Go back, fix that thing in my deck. So that's my approach to fundraising so that my ego can get through it, because raising money is not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, same. Beautiful, man. Well, where do people find out more about you, connect with you, visit you, all that?
Yep. Easiest thing is go to dmjoe.com. That'll take you to my Instagram inbox. Send me the word beard, and I'll give you all the stuff we talked about. Or you can follow me on Instagram at Joe Stolte Live.
Perfect. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Boom.